What's going on, guys? Justin with the Podcast Dojo. So today on Abandoned Locations, we are going to be talking about Northridge Mall in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Not to be confused with the Northridge Mall out in California. So this was a request. I do have to apologize. I really should have written this one down. I cannot remember for the life of me who requested this video. Just that I wrote down the location. I think it was Abandoned Lamont, but whoever requested it, just comment below and I'll pin it to the top. So anyway, so we're going to be talking about Northridge Mall. Let's head on over to Wisconsin and talk about it. Northridge Mall was opened up by Herb Kohl in 1972. That's right, the same family who owns Kohl's department stores. They opened up another mall that was near identical to them in a nearby town known as Southridge Mall. This was an 800,000 square foot mall with 2 floors and 4 anchor stores. The anchors were JCPenney's, Sears, Boston Store, and Gimbel's. I swear I think the location of Gimbel's must have been cursed. Gimbel's went bankrupt in 1986, became Marshall Field's for another 2 years, H.C. Prungus from 1988 to 1992, and I know I butchered that name, please forgive me, and finally Yonkers until 2000. What's interesting is that despite the ownership, Northridge never had a Kohl's like Southridge did. A movie theater was instead put in the same location as the Kohl's would have been at Northridge. So what was the overall downfall of the mall? Well, there was quite a bit, but let's go in order. First off, in 1988, the Kohl's family sold Southridge and Northridge malls, and a different owner bought each mall. Although the new owners did renovate the food court at Northridge, adding in neon lights and skylights, calling it Skyridge Cafe, it just was not enough to save it. This next story is the most notorious and very likely the main cause of the downfall. In 1992, convicted murderer Jesse Anderson took his wife out to dinner at the nearby TGI Fridays, and then killed her in the back of the parking lot. He stabbed her 5 times and himself 4 times. When questioned by police, he said 2 thugs attacked him in the parking lot, and he also presented them with an LA Clippers basketball cap, claiming he knocked it off one of the thugs during the fight. When this made news, a university student said that Anderson had purchased that same hat from him a few days prior to the incident. But unfortunately, the damage was done. Even though Jesse was arrested, people left to other local malls in fear of crime. Something really interesting I have to mention about Jesse Anderson is that when he was in prison, he actually was killed in prison along with Jeffrey Dahmer by the same person. It didn't help that a lot of big businesses started going under, like the story with Gimbel's mentioned earlier. This left the mall with a lot of mom-and-pop stores, urban apparel stores, and cheap jewelry stores. The stores that weren't occupied were covered with decorative drywall. By the late 90s, even the food court had nothing left except a McDonald's. Even the area surrounding Northridge wasn't the best. In later years, it had a major shift in demographics. Well, I didn't really hear of any other stories besides Jesse Anderson, in regards to crime anyway. I actually watched a video of someone driving around the mall and occasionally saying they didn't want to get out of the car because they didn't feel safe, which really kind of tells me what kind of area it was. Northridge closed its doors in 2003. Boston Store was the last tenant to leave and closed along with the mall. There were attempts to revive the mall, however. In 2009, the Sears location was raised and the Menards, once again, apologize for ruining that name, home improvement store was placed, as well as a pick and save supermarket. Value City moved into the old Boston Store location. In 2013, a Chinese investment company purchased the mall. They outbid Penzies for ownership, and the plan was to call the mall Chinese Mall of North America. It would cater to Far East retailers. But unfortunately, this plan fell through and never happened. As of 2014, Pick and Save announced that they were closing 3 of their Wisconsin stores. This included the Northridge Mall location, leaving only the Menards store left. Now, as far as today goes, the mall is being demolished to make way for a new strip mall that will be known as Granville Crossing. Can I think of a what-if scenario for this mall? Not really. I think the mall was doomed to fail for too many reasons. Poor location, chains going out of business, change in ownership, and the shady characters that tended to show up in later years. But I will say this, I think the beginning of the end for the mall was the murder done by Jesse Anderson. Had that not happened, I think the mall may have hung on by a couple more years, but I don't think it would have been enough to save it. So that was my video on Northridge Mall. We really hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoy what Ray and I do, Be sure to hit that subscribe button along with the bell button to always be up to date with what we do. Be sure to give the video a rating. Share any stories you have about Northridge Mall down below. And in 2 weeks we will be back with another episode of Abandoned. Take care, everyone.